Welcome, you guys. If you missed our class on Tuesday over the checkpoint number 3 for our Hello Human Body project, this is a quick overview. So a reminder to have checkpoint 1 and 2 requested feedback here on Summit. You did that work in OneNote. For checkpoint 3, however, you're going to do it here on Summit. So a note, you're choosing a medical event you would like to write about. I want you to think about 10 different vocabulary terms that would work in this event, and you will choose from this Quizlet review from 70 different words. You'll need to choose 10 of them. And this will also help you with our power focus area, our intro to anatomy and physiology. So you're creating an outline for your story, and you're thinking about what is a medical event that I might want to write about. So let's click into this checkpoint. A couple of notes here. The first thing you're going to do is brainstorm what you might write about. So your medical event might be something that was discovered about the body. It might be an anomaly for someone, or it might actually be an accident that someone went through and then the procedures that they had at the hospital afterwards. So with your event, you'll want to be thinking about what are the terms that I want to use. So notice here's the link again for that Quizlet review. You can also just click on it right here in the description for checkpoint 3. You'll notice that there is a list of 70 terms. You can scroll on down and it gives the whole entire list. You're choosing 10 vocabulary terms out of this that will match to help tell your story. So note that your story doesn't have to be something that's true. You can use any sort of story if you're super creative, and then choose from these 10 terms. So you could use directional terms here. You could talk about the planes. Maybe someone is getting a CTI, or excuse me, a CAT scan, or an MRI, something along those lines. You might say, oh, they looked at an X-ray of the coronal plane or the sagittal plane. So there's lots of ways that you can use these different terms. You could talk about the cavities and where maybe, let's say the pleural cavity was punctured by the bullet, for example, maybe someone got shot. Or you could go ahead and talk about the abdominal cavity. Maybe they cut into the abdominal cavity for a gallbladder removal, something along those lines, right? So there's lots of these terms here that you can go ahead and use, and you're going to want to choose 10 of them. So with that in mind, choosing your medical event might be the hardest part of this. So you can check out Medical Daily News. Go on here. There's lots of different places, lots of different stories, that you can check out here. There's innovation if you're wanting to see what types of cool things people are making in the medical fields. There's also obviously information about COVID-19 and then crazy different conditions. So this is a launch pad you can use for stories. You can use your own stories. I also went ahead and created a Padlet for us if you like to share out ideas. I added one of my own personal stories. It's not that crazy, but I fell in the shower back in college and had to get 12 stitches because I kicked the drain and it was made of plastic, the part that actually plugged it, and it sliced open my heel and I got super bruised on my heel and had to get on crutches actually for a couple weeks along with 12 stitches. So that might be a story that you would write about as well. So lots of different options for you. Again, it can be a true story. It can be a fictional story. It can be a mix of truth and fiction to go ahead and make sure you can use all the terms that you want to. All right, along with that, for our checkpoint, you will notice that once you've chosen your terms and kind of thought about those are flexible. So if you start writing your story and those don't work, that's fine. You can change them. They just have to be from our list of 70 on that Quizlet. Then you're going to write your outline. Now, your outline can be super in-depth or it can be really easy and short. Your introduction could be, one day Ms. Martin was walking along and she tripped because she's clumsy and she fell and she broke her leg and hit her head. Of course, you probably would want to use anatomy and physiology terms there. And then in the body, you'd say, oh, it was terrible. She had to be run to the hospital and the doctors had to do X, Y, and Z, right? And then the conclusion is Ms. Martin was crazy after that and she couldn't teach anymore because she had gotten such a bad brain injury. The end, right? Okay. So again, this is just kind of starting to get your brain thinking about what would I talk about in my story? Who is it going to be about? What's going to happen to them, etc. Okay. When you're done with that, take a look at the rubric. It's on the right-hand side of your checkpoint. You don't see it here because I'm not in your specific checkpoint. And I want you to think about, like, where are you at on the rubric? Are you at a 4, 4.5 for a C, a 5, 5.5 for a B, a 6, 6.5 for an A, or a 7 for an A+. So note that's the scoring here for the rubric. And you want to do that for your constructing an evidence-based explanation and organizing transitions, cohesion, and structure. Now, that might be a little bit hard because you haven't actually written anything out, but I want you to start brainstorming, like, where do you want to be and where do you think you are headed towards just based off of the work that you've done so far in checkpoint 3. Once you're done with that, turn that in, click that request feedback button, and feel free, if you're struggling with the outline, to use my example outline for case study report right here. Reminder, this is due at the end of the day on Friday. Thank you guys so much for getting your work done in time, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Thank you.